finally when I showed up on set also, I was still very nervous because I was like, acha theek hai, matlab, will they make fun of me if I don't get it right, if I sound
They have
different?
our own inhibitions.
Yeah, I had
True.
my own inhibitions. He was sharing that experience with me. He was sharing what he learned, those techniques and all these things, and just telling me about it in such a sweet way. And I got to learn so much from him. He didn't have to do that, but then he still did. He took that time to tell me, which I found very, very sweet. I'm very privileged. Like, I have the luxury of having a caravan, of having some time to sleep when I go back home. But then there are light officers who come 2, 3, 4, 5 hours before me to set up, and then they go after I do, like, because they have to pack up. I have so much respect for them. Hi, this is Krithi Shetty, and you're watching me on E-Times.
So welcome to Times of India.
Thank you so much.
You know, it looks fab, and that's what I was even talking with Tohima. There are so many people commenting on social media and they're excited about it. So how does it feel to be part of such a project?
I think to be part of such a project which is so anticipated, I think since the very first update that we came out with, people have been like so excited, so enthusiastic about it. So it's wonderful to see that, and more than that, to be part of such a vision is also wonderful.
Absolutely. And you know, these days it's no more Malayalam cinema or Telugu cinema or Hindi cinema. It has become like pan-India.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be an actor in this era?
I think it's I couldn't ask for anything more. It's absolutely wonderful because the lines have blurred out. Now there's no barriers anymore. Everybody is consuming all kinds of content, like all languages, and they are very, very accepting. So it's the best time, I feel. And I think we have to thank lockdown for that, because एक तरीके से like lockdown also really helped in that. And
लोग घर पे बैठ के OTT consume.
Yeah, they were watching films from all over the world. Like lots of people. I mean, even I was watching so many languages like Japanese, Korean, and all these languages. We were sitting at home and consuming, and फिर उसके बाद India में they started all, like, even now in Hindi also people go and watch Malayalam films and vice versa. So that I think is the best thing that happened.
And you know, from you, I want to know the journey of ARM for you. How did it start, and you know?
So when they approached me, I think Tabi, they had already worked on it for like 8 years, and I could see that. I could see when they narrated the story to me itself, they had the pre-visualization board ready, which made me experience and see how hard they've actually worked on it for so many years. And it's not easy, it takes so much time, which is why not every film does it. And then to make that extra effort was also great, and that really excited me. And I think the whole experience, since it's my first Malayalam film, I feel like I got to experience the whole industry through this one film also. Because what I experienced is they have longer timings than what I was used to, and that's very common in Malayalam because they are supposed to finish films very fast, like within a month or within 35 to 40 days, a set timing, or 2-3 schedules mein they wrap up the whole film. I mean, it really requires the whole team's support. It's a collective effort to make that happen. It's not just actors or director or cinematographer. It's the technicians, the crew, the art department, the light officers. Everybody has to come together to make that happen. Even in this film, even though I wasn't a part of it, they have shot for 36 hours in a stretch. It's unbelievable, like, and it does not just happen with one person. It's the whole crew which has to work so hard. And I feel like for actors, it's still I feel like I'm very privileged. Like, I have the luxury of having a caravan, of having some time to sleep when I go back home. But then there are light officers who come 2, 3, 4, 5 hours before me to set up, and then they go after I do, like, because they have to pack up. So I have so much respect for them, because it's not easy. And then I was just thinking, like, when do they rest? When do they get to talk to their family? That I really respect, and I think it's absolutely great, because it's something I cannot do.
And I know they were working on this project, but when it comes to you, what kind of preparations went into your character?
So this being my first Malayalam
Yeah.
film, I really wanted to work on my Malayalam because I didn't know Malayalam before I did the film.
Okay,
And so I was very nervous about that. I thought I would work really hard on it. I'll watch Malayalam films and I did whatever I could, but even after watching the films I couldn't really grasp it because
Correct.
even in those films the dialect that they use in every film, it varies. It's
Varies,
different
yeah,
from each other.
absolutely.
And then even in this film, they gave me the dialogues, they gave me voice notes, and I used to sit and learn every day. But when the assistant director would show up in to rehearse with me, it would still be different. Like it was still एक थोड़ा 19-20 तो था ही
होता ही
तभी
है and
भी.
ये तो अलग centuries भी है.
Yeah,
So,
and they had a different dialect which Tovino said was difficult for him also. ऐसा कभी लगा तो नहीं, but he said that. And then I was playing a proper village girl from a different time period, and then the look, they wanted it to be very raw. The performance, they wanted it to be very minute, very authentic.
Okay.
So I tried to watch films from those eras, pull out looks from those eras to get it all together. And then finally when I showed up on set also, I was still very nervous because I was like, acha theek hai, matlab, will they make fun of me if I don't get it right, if I sound
they have
different?
our own inhibitions.
Yeah, I had
True.
my own inhibitions, but then they made me so comfortable from day one. I think after day one, I never really was conscious of what I was saying. Like I would learn my lines and come, and it would go over so smoothly. And I on set, I only had performance in my mind because they never made me conscious, or they never expected perfection, and they were absolutely very, very happy. And at each moment, every day, even Sujit, he's the writer, he expressed that he was very happy, and it's actually the dialect in the film, it's I think north, another dialect. So he is from there. So he expressed happiness, which I was very happy about. He said that it sounds good, sounds authentic. That made me feel very, very good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I was so relieved. I was like, okay.
Relax, yeah. Because this kind of feedback really helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have asked you this, but how was your experience working with Tovino? Because, the kind of fan following, I was just discussing with him as well, the kind of loyal fan following he has built over the years. I'm sure there was a lot of learning, a lot of takeaways.
And I think he's absolutely worthy of the fan following. He has built the kind of effort and hard work that he puts into his work. From what I've seen is absolutely, it was amazing to witness, and I learned so much from him. I think I was struggling with those timings, those lines, but then he looked so effortless. He was shooting for much longer than I was, but it never showed in his face. He was never irritated, never tired, and he always had such positivity, such good energy, and he carried that, he spread that. And then when we were doing scenes, he had actually trained for this film. So he was sharing that experience with me. He was sharing what he learned, those techniques and all these things, and just telling me about it in such a sweet way. And I got to learn so much from him. He didn't have to do that, but then he still did. He took that time to tell me, which I found very, very sweet. So, and I think he's one of the best actors from our generation.
True. And because of the time restriction, but I'll still ask you my last question. This is your first Malayalam movie, and you have traveled to Kerala before this.
I have.
You have. So what kind of food, what kind of culture that you really like?
Actually, it felt like home food because I am, even though I'm born and brought up in Mumbai, I'm originally from Karnataka.
Oh, okay.
So I used to go whenever I had school ki chuttiyan, like 1 month break, I used to go to my grandmom's house, which is in Mangalore, which is quite close to Kerala.
Correct.
So we were shooting this in Karnataka border actually, which is almost, which is Kasargod, and even the set food, which was very close to the food I grew up eating, like the puttu and all those things. So I really enjoyed that food because it tastes like what we make at home. So I mean, that I think was very, very similar
to what you like.
To what I like, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for this lovely conversation, and I really wish you all the best for your movie.
Thank you.